Hi Flosstube, my name is Laura and welcome to my channel, Loves Rubber Stamps and Needle Crafts. Today I'm filming my second Flosstube special edition video, and this one is going to be all about my trip to Las Vegas, where I got to visit Stitcher's Paradise, and also I got to go to Shepherd's Bush in Ogden, Utah. So I had meant to film this one yesterday after my retreat video, but the retreat video ended up being a lot longer than I anticipated it was going to be, so I just ran out of time. So today is my last day off of work before I have to go back tomorrow, which makes me sad. But I wanted to go ahead and try to get this filmed today. It shouldn't be anywhere close to as long as my retreat video, but we'll go ahead and get started. So the way I thought I would format this one is I would first show my two new starts that I had during vacation. Then I thought I would share my trip to Stitcher's Paradise and my haul from there. And then I would share about my trip to Shepherd's Bush and my haul from there. So we will go ahead and get started. So every November, there is a race in Las Vegas. It's a dirt track race called the Duel in the Desert. And my husband and I own a business where we build race car tire prep stands for dirt track racing. So whenever we have the opportunity to go to Las Vegas for the Duel in the Desert, we go as a vendor. So we could have a vendor booth set up and we sell our machines at the track during the race. So that's what we go out to Vegas for. And so it's kind of like a vacation, but it's really, we're working, so we're not really vacationing. It's vacation in the sense that it's a new place and it's a nice getaway from home, but since we're working, we don't have a lot of time to really see the sights and just relax and, you know, do typical vacation things. So this year, the race ended up being a lot longer than it typically is. Usually the race is about 3 or 4 days, but this year they invited several new classes of cars and they raced for 6 full days. So we ended up being in Las Vegas for about a week and a half. In fact, we just got back on Tuesday of this week. And in case I forgot to mention, today is Thursday, November 18th. So we were out there for a lot longer. So I had decided that it was the perfect time to start a new full coverage piece that I've wanted to start ever since I saw that it was released. So I will go ahead and share with you my 2 new starts that I had for my workcation. So my first piece that I started was the piece that I had taken to be a car project. So I thought that since we were going to be driving out there and we decided to take 3 days to drive instead of pushing it and doing it in 2. So there's 3 different routes that we can take to Vegas. The shortest one is about 20-hour drive and the longest one is about 24. So usually we try to do it in 2 days where we drive about 12 hours a day. But this time we decided we had the time, we were just gonna take it a little bit easier and leave a day early and just drive about 8 hours a day. So we weren't, you know, being cramped up in the car that long. So on the way out to Vegas, we decided to take the scenic route and we drove through the mountains, going through Denver, which we live in central Iowa. So that's actually the shortest way to get to Vegas. So we drove through the mountains. My husband hates driving through the mountains, but he every once in a while will do it to appease me. So, because I love the scenery. So as long as he could drive through the mountains during the day, he agreed to do it. So the first night we made it to, we stayed in just outside of Denver. So in the morning, we would be able to drive through the mountains during the daytime. So that was really pretty. So the first day, or the first on the trip out there, I did try to stitch the first day we were driving because the scenery was boring. But once we hit the mountains, I was busy looking out the window. So I didn't stitch as much in the car as I thought I might. Plus, I don't know if you guys have ever tried to stitch in a bouncing truck down the interstate, but it's not very easy. So I had, I'll show you the project that I'm talking about. So I had decided to take an easy project that I thought would be really easy to stitch on in the truck. And it was this little Mill Hill kit called Bewitched Kitty. It's not very big. And I thought stitching on perforated paper would be, you know, pretty easy to do in the truck because the holes are big, easy to see. And I thought I could just whip this out and get all the stitching done. Well, I did not. I did get close, but this is where I got to. So I got all of the stitching done in her cape part. The only part that I needed to add some stitches to still is her little head and her face. She does have a ton of beads, so there really isn't a lot of stitching on her. So I was really hoping to get all the stitching done in the truck. That way when we got home, all I had left to do was bead. But I think there's maybe 20 stitches left for the stitching part, and then she's all beads after that. So I didn't do too bad. My stitches look really good for bouncing down the interstate. It really was kind of comical trying to stitch on this because it never failed. Every time I would get ready, like I'd see my hole, I'd go to stick my needle in, we'd hit a bump and I'd end up like clear up here. Like you'd be going like this, trying to stitch, and then it'd be like, what? So, I didn't get a stitch as much as I was hoping to in the car on the way there, but I almost made my goal. So that's something. My second new start, was a full coverage piece that, like I had mentioned, as soon as I seen that this came out, I immediately had to get it and knew that it was one I wanted to get started fairly soon. Sorry about that. I was blabbing along and all of a sudden I got a low power warning, so I had to plug in my phone. So as I was saying, as soon as I saw that this pattern was released, I immediately had to purchase it. And I knew I wanted to start it sooner rather than later. So if you've watched my channel, you know that I love tigers. They're one of my favorite animals. And this chart is artwork by Sheena Pike, and it is called Daydream Tigers. And I don't have a printed out picture of what it will look like, so I'll go ahead and insert a picture of what the finished design will look like here. And Sheena Pike used to have her artwork charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and then she ended up leaving Heaven and Earth Designs and she was picked up by Charting Creations. And this Daydream Tigers chart was one of their first releases of her artwork from Charting Creations. So, like I had mentioned, needed to have it. And I have a friend, Jantina Stitches. She does Flosstube videos too. That's her channel name here on Flosstube. But I love watching Jantina's videos because her and I have very similar tastes. And we're both stitching King Coda Storyteller, which is also a tiger piece. So I know that she loves tigers like I do. So when I seen this chart, I wanted to surprise her with it so we could do another stitch along. Jantina and I both started this about the same time. She's stitching the regular version of the chart and I'm stitching the large version of the chart. But we did start it within about a day of each other. And I just thought it would be fun to have somebody stitching it along with you that we can cheer each other on. So if you don't watch Jantina Stitches, her Flosstube, you need to. It's whenever she shows her whips, they're either stuff that I have in my stash or ones that I would definitely stitch myself. So it is kind of funny. She currently is stitching Mini Deer Creek, which is a Heaven and Earth design. And I want to stitch, I have plans to stitch that one for my husband, the regular version. And then she's doing some Randall Spangler charts. I'm doing a different Randall Spangler, but same artist. We're both stitching King Coda Storyteller. She is stitching, it's a Let Us Stitch. I think that's the company's name. Anyway, beautiful fairy piece that's a kit from that company, which I have in my stash. So we just have very similar tastes. So I thought this chart would be fun to see if she would be interested in starting it, and that way we can kind of stitch it together and cheer each other on. So this is where I ended up getting to while on vacation. So I ended up completing 2,848 stitches, and this is, like I said, is the large version of the chart. So the total stitch count is 533,800 stitches. Yeah, it's a big one. But I think this will be a really fun chart. This is my first full coverage chart that isn't Heaven and Earth designs outside of like a Dimensions kit. So this is my first time stitching anything from Charting Creations or any other full coverage company other than Heaven and Earth. And I think this chart will be a lot of fun to stitch because you don't have endless pages of just background. You get to the good stuff right away. So, and the whole chart is that way. The whole chart is good stuff. You're either working on the tigers or the little spaces in between the tigers. So I think it will be a fun stitch. But I do have a long way to go. I was really hoping to get the first page finished, but I didn't make that. So there's a lot of holes in the leaves here because I had forgot to take my new DMC colors, and this chart calls for some of those, especially like here in the leaves. So that was one thing that I had to pick up at Stitcher's Paradise when I went, was the new colors of DMC that this chart calls for. So I could fill in those leaves. So that's where I got on that. And those are the only two projects that I worked on during vacation. So now we'll go ahead and talk about my visit to Stitcher's Paradise. So like I had mentioned, in order to stitch on my tiger piece, I needed some of the new DMC colors. So I had asked my husband if we would be able to run to Stitcher's Paradise so I could pick those up one morning before he went out to the track. So we actually went out there on Friday. We were leaving on Sunday. So we went out towards the end of the week on Friday before he went out to the track. And I didn't have a lot of time, so I only had maybe about 15 minutes in the store because, like I said, he needed to get out to the racetrack, and their hours, they're only open like 10 to 4:30. So we wouldn't have had time. He wouldn't be anywhere close to being done in the afternoon. So we had to go in the morning. So when I was there, I just took a couple of pictures of some models that caught my eye. And so I will insert those pictures of those models here in just a second. But I have been to Stitcher's Paradise before a couple of different times when we've been in Vegas previously. And so if you look back in my videos, there are a couple of videos where we had went to Stitcher's Paradise and I got to spend a lot more time in there. So I have a lot more pictures of the models and some video that I took in the store in those previous videos. So if you want to see more of that store, just look back in my videos to my previous Vegas trips and you can see a lot more. So this time I just snapped a couple of pictures of models that really caught my eye, and I'll go ahead and insert those pictures here. Now I thought I would go ahead and share with you the haul that I got while I was at Stitcher's Paradise. So, like I had mentioned, I really had went there for the main purpose of getting my new DMC colors. There was, well, actually they're right here. So not too many. I ended up needing 8 of the new DMC colors. So this is part of my haul from Stitcher's Paradise, was the new DMCs. And because I was on my trip, I had bought a small pack of the floss away bags with the ring, so I could just put my new colors in there for the chart. And then the other items that I got from there, I ended up getting this Bent Creek kit called Gertie Gobble. And this is the full kit that has the fabric and the floss. I don't really have a lot of Thanksgiving patterns or charts, so I thought this one was pretty cute. And then when I was checking out, I spotted this. They had this model stitched up, and it was really cute stitched. So I went ahead and grabbed this pattern. It's called Winter Sheep Star and Crow by Carousel Charts. And I had never heard of this company before, but if you watch my retreat video, I had purchased another one of their sheep charts when I was on my retreat in Amana. So apparently I have a thing for their sheep. They're just really cute. And then if you saw in my pictures of the models, this little guy was done up as a little model, and he was so cute, stitched up, that I just had to get him. He is from Heart in the Hand, and it's called We Won Magic. And I just love him. He's so cute. Do you ever find that the models just get you? They get me every time. I see it stitched up as a model, and then I need it in my life. So another one that I totally had to get because I seen the model stitch there, which you would have seen in my pictures, was this Mill Hill kit called Holiday. I think it's Holiday 9. IX, isn't that 9? This is one of the this is a really old one. And it says on the back that it's from 2001. But the model was stitched on fabric, and it was gorgeous on fabric. They'd done it on the fabric, and then they finished it as one of those freestanding cubes. So I needed this. I want to stitch it on fabric, just like that model was. So I probably won't stitch it on this perforated paper, but it even comes with that kind of old-fashioned button for the present. So this was gorgeous. So I had to get that. And then I got this chart, which was also model stitched up. That is a Designs by Lisa called If Cats Could Talk, which I just thought was kind of funny. My son really loves cats, so I thought this one might be funny for him. It says, if cats could talk, they would probably lie. So that was cute. And then the last chart that I bought at Stitcher's Paradise was a Mirabilia called Bluebird's Princess. And I've wanted this chart for a long time. I really love the seahorses. I think those are gorgeous. And they had this chart here, and I just decided, you know, I needed to buy it because I didn't want to take the chance that all of a sudden it's just, you know how Mirabilia is, where all of a sudden they just retire without warning and you just can't find them. So I wanted to get this in my stash before that happens to this chart. And then I decided to just choose, I really love Gentle Arts threads, and I don't have a stash of really any of the main fancy flosses like Gentle Arts or Classic Colorworks or Weeks Dye Works. I don't have a very big stash of any of those. So I just decided that I was going to pick 10 colors of the Gentle Arts, which are my favorites, just to put in my stash of colors that I thought were really pretty. And I also tried to get some of the more variegated ones, just because I thought they were pretty neat. So the first one I got was this one called Island Blue. It's a really pretty teal. And then I got this one called Cinders, which is like a deep purple with kind of black to kind of a plummy color. And then I got a Buckeye Scarlet, which I know I have some patterns that call for this one because it's a really pretty red for Christmas. And then I got one called Black Raspberry Jam. And this is a really pretty variegated, like a deep navy blue that goes to purple. And then I got this red called Cherry Wine. And I just thought this color would be pretty for maybe patriotic stitching or even Christmas. It's more of a raspberry red though, so it might be better for more for 4th of July. Then I got this one called Mediterranean Sea, which I thought is really pretty. Another deep teal with kind of darker, almost to black. And I got this one called Dragonfly, which is like greens to brown, kind of a rusty brown. I got this one called Driftwood. And this one is called Blackboard. And this is really the color of kind of like what a slate chalkboard would look like. So it's kind of like a deep bluish black. It looks more black when you just look at it in person than it does in the light. It looks more dark blue. And then my last one that I got to add to my stash was Creek Bed. And this one is like a really pretty light blues to light browns. And then the last thing that I got from Stitcher's Paradise was a yard of fabric. So I decided to go ahead and just buy the full yard because I really liked this color. I thought it would be perfect for like primitive Halloween designs. So I'm not gonna undo the whole thing because like I said, it's an entire yard. But this one is a 32 count linen, and it's a silk weaver fabric, which unless you can see them in person and get them, they're kind of hard to find or get. But this one is called Days Gone By. And I thought it would be perfect for primitive designs or like those prim Halloween pieces. It has some good modeling. So I just went ahead and bought the full yard. And that is my haul from Stitcher's Paradise. So now we'll go ahead and get started with Shepherd's Bush. So I have never been to Shepherd's Bush before. This was my very first time going. And like I had mentioned, there's 3 different routes that we can drive, that we take to Vegas or back home. So the one is through the mountains, which my husband hates the most because he doesn't like driving in the mountains. But it's the most scenic and my favorite. And then the other 2 options are to go north, like through Wyoming and Nebraska and then to Iowa. Or we can take the south way, which is through Arizona and Texas, Oklahoma, and then cut up through Kansas. Well, on the way home, we decide which route we're going to take depending on what the weather's going to do. So if the weather is nice, we usually go the north way because it's quicker. It's only about 21-hour drive versus the south way, which is the full 24. So the weather looked like it was going to be pretty perfect. So we decided to go the north way home. Well, when I was doing the mapping, I saw that Shepherd's Bush is, typically we go up to Salt Lake and then we cut around the east side of Salt Lake City and get on Interstate 80 and head straight over, because basically we take 80 the entire way home. And I saw that Shepherd's Bush was actually just a little bit north of Salt Lake City in Ogden, Utah. So I asked my husband if he would mind if we could stay the night in Utah the first night, and that way I could go to Shepherd's Bush in the morning before we headed home. And he's amazing, and he said that was no problem. So he ended up having to meet one of our dealers up by Salt Lake to drop off some merchandise to him, so we didn't have to ship it. So it actually worked out good for him too. So we went ahead and drove to Ogden, Utah on Sunday when we left Vegas, and we spent the night there because that way I could go to the store as soon as they opened at 10 o'clock on Monday morning. So one thing to note is Sunday night, we decided to, I found a pizza place online that had a vegan options. So I eat a vegan plant-based diet, which makes it really difficult to go out to eat when you're traveling, because a lot of times you'll find that restaurants really don't have full, like, any vegan dishes. You usually have to try to alter something that they have, or, you know, you're going to be eating salad, you know, altered with the stuff you can't eat. So it makes it really difficult to eat out sometimes. So when I was looking at places to eat, I had seen a review that this pizza place somebody had mentioned that they had a lot of vegan options. So I pulled up their menu, and they had a full vegan menu. It was called the Pie Pizzeria in Ogden, Utah. And their pizza was amazing. So it was so refreshing to be able to go to a restaurant, like especially a pizza place, and have an entire menu that I could choose from instead of, you know, like one option. So they had their full regular menu, they had a full vegan menu, and then they had a full gluten-free menu as well. So that was kind of neat. So I ended up trying their vegan buffalo wings, which, since I went plant-based, I had never ate buffalo wings before, you know, since switching. They were delicious. And then I had ordered kind of a Beyond Beef bacon cheeseburger, which it was really good. And they used soy bacon. It's not real bacon. But it was delicious. And so now, whenever we are headed back home and we go the north way, we've decided that we're going to stop at the Pie Pizzeria and eat their pizza because it was delicious. So anyway, you're not here to hear about my food, but if you want a good pizza place and you're out in Salt Lake City area, they have different locations of the Pie Pizzeria kind of in that area. Delicious, delicious, delicious. Anyway, back to Shepherd's Bush. So, I got to Shepherd's Bush right as they opened, and my husband just stayed in the truck and let me do my thing. He had some phone calls to make and some other stuff to do, so he didn't mind. I ended up being at Shepherd's Bush for probably about an hour and a half. There was a lot to look at. It is a beautiful store, packed to the hilt with stitched models. There was a lot to look at. So I have a ton of pictures and videos of all of the different models. As I went around the store, I tried to take either video or pictures of the models on the wall. And let me tell you, there's spots in there that literally the models are floor to ceiling. Literally from the floor clear up, way up there that you can barely see the designs. They had so much. One thing that I really, really enjoyed seeing when I was there was they had a lot of examples of big throw pillows where the stitch designs are stitched on really big counts of fabric, or like if you took 14 count, you're stitching it over 2, so it ends up being like a 7 count, and it makes really big pictures that then they make into giant throw pillows for your couches. So it was really cool to see, you know, designs that you recognize that you wouldn't even think to stitch that large. Like one of the pictures I took was of a Lizzie Kate little design that they stitched really big and made it into a throw pillow. They had a lot of the Prairie School Santas, Prairie Schooler Santas made up in the giant pillows. Another thing that I really, really liked was in the Halloween section, they had one really big pillow done on purple fabric of the Prairie Schooler one of those Halloween pieces that, gosh, I can't think of which one it is, but it's like, there's a set of like 4 or 6 of them that look like, I know Nell from Little House Crafts had stitched them. I can't think of the names. Anyway, they stitched one of those in the monochrome on black on a purple fabric, made it into a giant pillow. That was really cool. The other one that I really, really loved seeing was, they did one of the Prairie Schooler Trick or Treat, is it Trick or Treat or one of those Sweeping Cobwebs or one like that. But it was stitched on a swampy green color fabric, which I never would have thought to stitch one of those on that color fabric, but it looked really, really cool. So I will go ahead and insert my mega load of pictures and videos of all of the different models that I took pictures of while I was at Shepherd's Bush, and I will insert those here. A lot of stuff to look at, isn't there, Dario?
Yeah. Almost overwhelming for the non-stitcher's eye.
We could get you started.
Yeah. I keep threatening to try it.
Yeah.
Pretty good. How you doing?
Great, thanks.
You got any good new patterns that come with the thread material and everything?
Do you want the
exciting.
whole set? I love this. I know, I love that too. I think it's so cute. Oh my gosh. Dad, you have done a ton.
That was a hard one here. Right there.
I'm sure it was, all the but color it's so pretty. Yeah. Did it make you crazy?
No, it kind of made me sleepy though. I fall asleep. I go sit on the couch a minute. I was okay.
Okay, I'll look for more wildlife ones. But this is pretty. That was kind of fun. Yeah, your ocean one is really fun. And your flowers are sweet. Yeah, it's almost all completely solid. Yeah.
I ran into Rita on Saturday.
Oh, it's second Saturday?
Yeah. And she said that she had done quite a bit on her.
She has.
She told me, she says, I forgot to bring it home, so it's on the table. It looks good. So she says, go look at it.
She's done a great job of that.
Yeah, she has. I didn't do anything. Yeah, it says we do. Yeah, we do. So, yeah.
They would love the sugar cookies and stuff.
Oh, oh, that is so hilarious.
Isn't that the funniest?
And that was at the grocery store?
Yeah, it's at the grocery store at Winco. What was that?
And I really want to get into that. And I have those little houses. They're so cute.
I have lots to choose from. Love.
Yeah. I'd get you a few if you want. Oh, look at this. So cute. Oh, look at this one. Oh, that's not a good count. That would that pretty quick. I don't know if I like that. Yeah.
like to do one of those and put it up as a pot bucket to just have across it. I do remember her sitting not in the back with us, but kind of on the back row. And according to just like they were college sweethearts. Oh. And but you know, I miss the babble. Terry, how many more of those little sugar fish box? Is that crazy sweet? You make them? Do you have any Christmas ones? No, we haven't. You said you wanted them to have a high PC, right? Thank you. Oh, very good. Look at you. Hey. Awesome. So we're enjoying our this year too slow. Yeah. People out. But now we're all back in the house. We're all back. When you want to put in the hospital for 7 days. And I'm just barely getting back to heart rate. But now I'll be good. Are you sure you want to sit on them for a year? I have something else that I ordered as well. I ordered all the candy. Okay. So, yes, we are enjoying our. We are. Good. I'm not sure. You'll get better and better at it. That's the thing. Oh, is it you? Oh, it's perfect. Yeah. And the whole twisting. Sorry. Yeah, look at Rita's. Wait, she hasn't called me. What happened? I don't know. Oh, no, that's not really nice. I know. She's doing great. She's doing great. Really good. The hardest thing is seeing how she's covering a little bit. Just make sure that you don't pull too tight. Let it roll back down. So when you go in, then just make it, you know, so that that's but this will be good. Yeah. Her boils on that lovely movie. Yeah, he looks really good. He looks great. She was gonna take it out. It's not really. It's perfect. No, you let it sit. Needle under there and kind of check out. Yeah. No, I think it looks good. Yeah, she did really good. Well, if someone's called me, I don't know. I haven't got the message. Is she calling with complaints or is she calling? No, I think with complaints. Okay. All right. Okay. Because I mean, she's doing okay. But she's one that will come to me. Which is fine. This is perfect progress. Yeah. 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 I'm trying to do everything over to myself. Good. And she can just email me too. At @gardening@gmail. Okay. I'm so excited on Rita's table like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But they're not there now. She doesn't even have one. Yes, you are welcome. Probably just that. Okay.
Hey, Lynette, I was going to ask you, so did they put you on any antibiotics, or did they say that you have a problem with infection?
No, but they give you.
What count is this one done on?
Before you go in, they
Do you have the pattern for this early morning?
In an IV. Oh, just I've been looking where to drop some stuff off. Which, the one on Harrison?
Yeah, I'd gone to pick up blood pressure medication, and when I was standing there, I was in the corner by the, so.
That's good to know.
Me too. But when I was in the hospital, they gave me 500, like Tylenol, 500. And I was like, I would never take for a bad headache, and I was just like, I would never take that much. But man, it's like, flying gone. I was like, oh, in there, so you know.
Hands me.
I'll be here.
Yes.
And do you like this color?
I'm sure that is a really business. It is, and it took me a while when I heard you moved there. But a break is good too.
Make your little step.
Okay. So that's all I need.
Automatically rips it off. Holding it on now.
I love this one right here. Feast of Friendship. Do you have all these houses? And I love them.
Someday we're gonna make all this stuff.
Absolutely. I'm gonna go through my fabrics. I put them out in the living room.
Yeah.
Sitting there. And can she have a needle, please?
I got it here. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Everybody's excited that Pacific Saturday. The fall one, the girls in person. The Halloween one. Oh, it's the Halloween one last year. Yeah. It's fall, but Halloween colors. And it's going to be cute. Oh, so. What a great idea. Nice. They moved from Oregon a year ago, and they live a mile and a half away from us. Oh, yay! I know. Perfect. Thanks, Amy. Bye. Thank you, Terry. And thank you for sending extra of those ornament things. That was nice. Yes, and I'll send those each month now. Okay. Send an extra one. Okay. All right. Perfect. If I can get with it, I'll send them all. But you know how I know. Oh, yeah. I think 2006 is going to be in that order. I think it's in the order that I just sent in. Pretty sure it's in the order I just sent. It's in a book. Oh, it's in a book now? I think so. I think it is. I don't even know what that one would be. It's not To All a Good Night. To All a Good Night was 15. It's the Christmas Caroler. Or maybe right, that's not 2016. Polar Bear, maybe? It must be one of our new. Oh, well, if it's Polar Bear. No, it's the clock. Maybe not. Really? Okay. Alrighty. Did UPS come? You picked them up. That's the time. Brought us a bunch. I said, oh, then, okay. Okay, we're missing two. Are we? Well, no, because you're using, well, I don't have 30. But you could use the one you have. I don't have it.
See, I had thought need to, because 11 was between, I thought, well, maybe I could use one of the other. But it's all of 231. She told me that. What all of it. That was just me being a pain.
So, as you can see, there was a ton of stuff to see. I probably could have stayed in that store all day long and still wouldn't have seen everything. They had some of their patterns grouped by designer names, and then they had other big boxes of patterns by theme. So I'm sure that there are some buried treasures in all of those charts. I found it a little hard to find the charts I was looking for. Like if I found a model that I really liked, being able to figure out where those patterns were at, where I could find them easily. But the nice thing about the ladies there, they're very helpful. And they also, you can call them up and do online ordering. There was one chart that I wanted that they were out of, that they're going to try to get in. So once it comes in, they're supposed to let me know, and then they'll ship it to me. So that's awesome. But you can do online ordering with them, and they ship out every day. So, gorgeous store. I hope that I am able to go back where I have even more time to just sit and go through the patterns and see what kind of buried treasures are in there. So I will go ahead and share with you my haul that I picked up while I was there. I haven't unwrapped it yet, but this is how they packaged my order. So they put it in this cute little bag, and there's this scrapbook paper cutout of the giant shepherd's bush logo. Isn't that cute? And then they tied it with ribbon, a couple different ribbons. So very pretty. So let me untie this little guy. It's cute. And I will show you what I got. So I really loved the little shepherd's bush little sheep pillows that they did, and they have them for each season. So I really I wanted to get those designs, and they had them a couple of different ways that you could buy them. So they had just the chart that came with the button for the little sheep pillows, or you could buy them as a kit. So what I did is I tried to buy just the pattern with the button when I could find just that part. If they were out of the pattern with the button and just had the kit, then I just purchased the kit. So these, the first one I got was You Better Not Pout. And this one I had to get as the full kit because they didn't have just the pattern. But I thought this one was really cute. This one doesn't have a button, but I just love their little designs like that. The next one I got was Hocus Pocus, which is the little Halloween sheep. And this one I was able to get just as the chart with the button. But that one's really cute. The button is the sunflower up there. And this one I had to get as a full kit. This one is called Joy to You. And this one has the little sheep, and he does have a little button hat. And like I said, this one is the full kit. And then I got this one called I guess this one doesn't have a name on it. I'm not sure what this one is called, but it has a polka dot pumpkin button that comes with it. I thought this would be cute for the fall. And this one is called Have You Any Wool? It's a little winter piece, and the button is the hat on the sheep. And this one I had to get as the full kit. And then I got this one called Boo to You. And this one I was able to get as just the chart. And the button is the little pumpkin on top. And then I got this one called In the Meadow, We Could Build a Snowman. And the little sheep is wearing a hat. That's the button. And then this one is called Scare You. And this one I was able to get is just the chart with the button. And the button is the little witch hat on this sheep here. And then the last one in that style was the Easter one. And it says in your Easter bonnet. And the button is the little bonnet that the sheep's wearing. And I was able to get this one as just the chart and button. And there were a couple other from that series that that weren't put out. And so, but I got the majority of the ones that I could find. There might be a couple that I don't have yet, but I can get those next time when they call me for my other chart that I wanted. And then the other charts, some other charts that I got, so they had those photo booths, which these ones are kind of hard to find. And I had been wanting these for a long time. So I picked up the ones that I could find from them. These all come with fabric and the buttons. So this one is the photo booth called Franken Boo. And these are Bent Creek designs. But I just love these. I think they're so cute. And then I got the Bent Creek Snowman photo booth. And I got the Pilgrim Pals. And the last one I got, which I seen this one stitched up as the model, which was really cute, is called the North Pole Party Picks. So I love those. And just a couple of more things. I did find this chart. It is called... It's a Patricia Aiken chart called The Gift. And I've never seen this one before. But I really love the dragon and the mermaid. I love those. So this is what I mean about like those buried treasures that you may find. This was in one of the boxes that was a theme box for dragons that I looked through. So I just thought that was a gorgeous design. And I had never seen that one before. So then I got this one from Sam Sarah. It's the Embrace Snowman. And I had seen this one stitched up as a model. That was what caught my eye. And I asked them if they had this chart, and they were able to find it for me. But I love it. It's pretty. And then I got a couple of other Shepherd's Bush kits. This one I got is called Be Frightful. And this is the kit that comes with the fabric and the floss and the buttons. And then the last thing I got was another Shepherd's Bush kit. And this one is called Here We Go A Haunting. It's a little witch with her sheep in the meadow, or in like a pumpkin patch, or I guess it's a graveyard with pumpkins. Really cute. So that was my haul from Shepherd's Bush. Like I had mentioned, I really hope that I could go back to their store someday. I felt like I didn't even scratch the surface being there. There was just so much to see and look at, and just a really fun place to visit. So that is all I have for you today. So I am hoping to come back in hopefully the first probably week or so of December, maybe let Thanksgiving get over, but probably in a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, I hope to have enough stuff to show for a just a regular update video. While I was on vacation, right before I left, I actually hit 1,000 subscribers, which is just so amazing to me. I can't thank everybody enough that has subscribed and comes back to my channel. I really, really appreciate it. So in my next video, or my next Flosstube update video, I'm planning on doing a giveaway to celebrate my 1,000 subscribers. And my camera keeps moving because I had to plug in my phone and my cord is sliding. Sorry about that. But like I mentioned, I plan on doing my subscriber giveaway in my next update video. So look forward to that. And that's all I have for you today. So I hope you stay safe and stay healthy. And I hope you get a lot of stitching in. We'll talk to you later. Bye.